This is 4 years in the making, and I can't believe that I'm actually here.
I realized that she is definitely a lot more comfortable than most students in airplanes in general. As predicted, her flying did get a little worse. Her physical control of the airplane is very good. It's the mental aspect that we need to get there.
Clear left, clear right.
Thank you.
So this flight was not very good.
Plan for today is much like last flight. We'll go up and do slow flight stalls. We're also going to practice ground reference maneuvers for the first time.
I think just the whole demeanor of this flight just was off. She just felt uncomfortable during the flight. I don't think she had enough time to process last flight before this one, so it was kind of throwing her in quite a bit.
Do you want to make the departing call?
Nope.
Claremont County traffic 121 Uniform Charlie departing runway 22, departure to the southeast, Claremont County.
Alright, we are straight, dropping down, throttling. Left rudder, throttle in.
There we go.
There.
Good center line. Tad more right. Yep. Rotate.
Rotate.
That's the rotation we're looking for.
Takeoff wasn't bad. We started our takeoff roll. We ended up getting a little bit left to center line on the takeoff roll, so I said right rudder, and what she did was push the right rudder and then immediately release it again. So it kind of turned the airplane and then turned it back to the left.
So when we were on the takeoff roll right there, one thing that you did was we started to go a little left to center line, so you kicked in right rudder and then you released it immediately. Instead of keeping, yes. Yeah, instead of keeping it in to actually get us back to the right. Let's head to the right a little bit more, kind of going behind him.
That was actually not me. As soon as you said that, the plane just...
I was like, wow.
Yeah, no.
You haven't done that one before.
Go about 3 to 4 miles to the north.
Gonna keep going to the river, or...?
You can level off and we'll keep heading towards that power plant.
We got up there and we leveled off, and she got about 300 feet high just trying to level the plane off.
All right, let's reduce that power to cruise 2200.
She was just distracted with what was going to happen. She was already thinking about other things when she was just trying to level the plane.
The two things we need to do before maneuvers.
Bearing turns.
Yep. And the other one's not so obvious.
Trim.
Well,
Stabilize the plane.
Yeah, because we have climbed 300 feet.
Yeah, I know, we're...
3800 doing power also.
Alright, let's...
But I was referring to the ESP on the autopilot as well.
Okay.
Her slow flight is like really good. That's the one thing that was good this lesson. So slow flight for the last 2 flights have been really good. Where we're finding some of the struggles is with the stalls and then now the landings as well.
It's holding it at the 25. Getting it there and keeping it there, I'm fine, but then I'm starting, because I'm holding it back, like whether my arm starts getting weak and I drop it, then I'm sitting here, I'm also having to correct aileron, then my leg is getting weak, then everything starts messing up. So I know what I'm doing, and I know what I'm doing wrong. It's a physical thing. How am I supposed to fix that?
We'll fix it.
The activity of doing it is not an issue. I'm not scared to do it. But when I sit here and I'm pulling back as hard as I can, and I can't literally physically pull anymore, it can't happen. What you're asking of me can't happen. Oh, well, let's just trim up more. Oh, but you gotta look out for all these extra things because now you're doing that, which to me is stupid. Don't sit here and start nosing up that much more just so it's slightly easier to pull back on the on pressure on the yoke, because then once you level out, then you're having to immediately add something else. So now I'm not adding one thing, I'm adding two things. It's a workaround, yes, but it's not working for me. And then he's like, oh, maybe we'll have you do both hands for back pressure and then go grab the throttle. And I'm like, I don't feel like that's safe. I don't feel like, one, it's not the right way to learn. Two, you're asking for a shorter amount of recovery time in doing that.
She, on this flight with the stalls, she really mentally checked out. And that, for most of this flight, I felt like she was kind of checked out mentally. And so she was doing them, but she wasn't as focused as she was last flight, or as determined as she was last flight. And on that first power on stall that we did, it was pretty uncoordinated. We got that pitch up in there, and then the wings really banked quite a bit. And then she tried to recover it, and she put in a lot of right rudder, and it just was kind of all off. She feels like she's hitting a learning plateau when it comes to stalls and things like that.
It's not hitting a wall, it's how I have to learn. We literally kept going back and forth with stalls.
Very repetitive. She's having trouble with all that repetition.
I said, it's confusing me. I can't even grip knowing what to do with one now.
I think that she just, she checked out early from this flight, and it just affected the whole flight. For this flight, it just kind of felt off to the point where, like, I don't really know what it was to pinpoint it. I think it was just kind of like a lot of little things went wrong, and the whole attitude of the flight just kind of was, yeah, it wasn't very good. And that's coming from both of us too. Like, I feel like both of us were kind of just like bleh for this flight.
I know myself, and if I get to a point where I'm overwhelmed, I shut down, and that's what's happening. But I'm trying to push through.
When you're doing flight training, especially something that's as accelerated as this, you will definitely hit those learning plateaus, and you can definitely feel like you're in a rut when it comes to the training. So resetting your brain, taking a flight to just have fun and say, wow, this is amazing, I'm flying again, that's really important. We have to remember the reason why we're doing this.
So today we're going to be staying in the pattern for this flight, and we'll really just be focusing on getting the procedures and stuff down. I don't really care so much how well you're flying and how well you're landing. It's more about just getting your mind there, right? Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna fly this first pattern, and you're just gonna tell me what to do, okay?
Okay.
I did the first pattern just so she could talk me through the procedures, so I knew that she wasn't getting an understanding of the procedures.
Line up with your feet on the ground.
Okay.
And on the rudders.
Yeah.
Full throttle.
Okay. Engine instruments are good. Airspeed is alive.
Staying at 79.
Yep.
Climbing to 1500.
Yep.
Right rudder as necessary.
Correct. Alright, and I'm just flying straight and level. About 100 knots. Right along downwind. Alright, so what do I do?
In the numbers, now you start decreasing your power to 1500.
Okay.
Pitch down.
Yep.
And flaps 10.
Awesome. Alright, so we're passing 1600. We can go ahead and turn base as long as it's clear, which it is. As I'm turning, a little bit of back pressure to slow down to 75.
Cumberland County traffic 121 Uniform Charlie, turning left base runway 22, Cumberland County.
And 20 degrees of flaps coming in. I'm sorry, you're supposed to be telling me this.
As we're passing through 1500.
Cumberland County 20 Papa,
20 flaps.
Yep.
Slowing to 75. Now that we are base, now we can Go 30. Pitch for 65.
Yep. Again, just maintaining my pitch for 65. And it doesn't take big movements. We're just making small control inputs here. And I'm kind of trying to hold the yoke as steady as possible because I don't want to be doing this thing, right? So now I'm going to pull the power to idle because the runway is made. Now I'm bringing it all the way down near the ground before I bring my round out in. So here's my round out. I'm just floating above the runway. Slowly more and more back pressure. More and more, more and more, more and more. And there's the touchdown. I'm bringing my flaps up. I'm just going to do a touch and go. Flaps are up, full power.
215 Echo.
Once you confirm that your flaps are up,
That's when we can go full power to take off. Yep. Okay. Does that all make sense? Any questions about any of that?
yeah, it's remembering everything.
Right, right. It's just procedures. You like procedures. Procedures are fun. Procedures are comforting. Okay, your controls.
I control.
All right. We're just climbing out at 79 here. Now, I'll talk you through this now, okay? We'll switch roles. I'm going to play the role of the instructor. How weird is that? All right, so here it comes.
All right, so power to 15.
Yep.
This final 22.
Flaps 10.
Perfect.
All right, 1600. This is 75.
Yep, and you can add 20 degrees of flaps now.
Climate traffic 121 Uniform Charlie, turning left base, runway 22, Clement County.
See, you set your power that first time there. We haven't changed it at all, and we're on final here.
Yes.
Yeah, we did.
Don't speak out loud about that.
Keeping that nose down until we got right above the runway, bringing in the round out, starting to bring in the flare, that added back pressure on the yoke, and she buttered her first landing. Like literally, I didn't do anything and she buttered it.
That was all you! All right.
Brakes.
Yep, brakes.
All right.
Brakes.
All right,
And
so
just keep that center line. Now you can let go of the yoke now.
yeah.
That was literally all you. High five. Yes. That was amazing. What a landing.
Today went well.
How do you feel? Hold on. Give yourself a little credit, okay? Give yourself a little credit.
I feel like that was pretty good.
Yeah, no, compared to everybody else, especially students that are this new, she did really good. She nailed the landings for someone that does not have that much experience. And we're sitting there and she's like, oh, I kind of felt like that one was a little bit rougher. And I'm there like, no, we have no shock absorbers. We have nothing on this plane. So if it feels like a pretty soft landing, it's a soft landing. It was really good. So, so yeah, we credit where credit is due. She did really good on those landings.
See, I was going to suggest that we have a landing competition, but after that landing, I don't know that I want to. It would be really embarrassing if I lost that. So.
Woo! Yeah. High five again. That was an amazing flight. That was so much fun.
Too bad we didn't do a contest.
Yeah, that's too bad. That's too bad.
Today was much better. So far.
That flight was everything that I hoped it would be. It was a lot of fun. She did amazing, a lot better than I was expecting actually.
Today was definitely a reset from yesterday. Still didn't get much sleep, but was able to reset myself in and of, so.
And I don't know how, but something switched between yesterday and today. That's exactly what we were hoping to do. We were trying to switch up the atmosphere in the plane, and that's exactly what we did, and it really worked. So, I mean, this is the ups and downs of flight training, right? This happens all the time, but these flights are the ones that you get really excited about and that you're really happy about, and they give you the confidence to keep going.
Flight 6 was uneventful for the most part.
Yeah, it started out like any other flight. It did.
Easy, 2 light alpha.
What is going on
What's
here?
happening?
I don't know. On you? Your controls.
Clement County traffic 121 Uniform Charlie, mayday. We're going to be landing on runway 4. We're losing engine power.